All right, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. Running from Sugar here with your Celtic Tarot. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate the holidays. And much love and happy holidays. Just, whether you observe the holiday or not. I hope today was just a good day. Just a good day. Sorry, I was playing with the fire a little bit, huh? All right. Oh, let's see. We have to pause because I had some notes for you guys earlier. And I may just do a reading on those notes tomorrow. Your girl here is tired. This is my second Christmas being a grandmother, and this is the first Christmas getting to enjoy it with them, as we all know last year, if anybody's listened to some of my stuff, knows that I was displaced due to a house fire. All right. I am absolutely positively exhausted. When we do things in the South, we tend to do it rather large, and that includes cooking. However, I am so pleased with how today went, and it was stressful. It was stressful on me, on a lot of women, on a lot of mothers, because one way or the other, maybe some of you are out there finding yourself lacking and feeling alone. Maybe some of you are on the other end of the spectrum and dealing with my poor daughter. She landed in the category of, I have too many grandparents to spread these kids with. What do I do? And it wasn't, with two, it wasn't, it didn't go as planned. It was just a learning experience. I told them it was a learning curve. However, they managed and they mustered through a very busy full day. And we managed to get Christmas done here. They still got a little more Christmas to do tomorrow even. So, God bless her heart. She has, Rory is 1.5, and Hilton is just a few months old now. So she's got a newborn on her hands. Hilton's starting to, she was born at 5 pounds, and she's over 9 pounds now, probably maybe even a hair more than that. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask Hannah. But she's just a doll baby. She's getting to where she'll really look at you. And it was really sweet tonight because my mom was sitting in the chair, and it's just like, it was so, I don't even have a word for it, to watch my mother sit and rock her great-grandchild, my granddaughter, and sing to her the same song she sang to me and the same song she sang to my daughter when she would rock Hannah or rock me when I was a kid. But I don't know how to explain that. It's both, it was a unique observance to see, and really, really, really touching, I guess. touching is the word. Yeah. So there was a lot of beautiful highlights of the day. Beautiful, crazy clusterfucks, dude. It was just, all in all, I'm not mad. It's, we all know it's not about, yeah, it is. For me, it is. I actually love giving. I love giving gifts. I run businesses that actually make gifts. So I make custom baskets for gifts. And I like to go all out on the holidays. It's not about anything spiritual or really religious to me. Now, I do find that the real meaning behind a lot of the holidays and traditions are not that of whether people think they originate. I'm not going to go into the history of Christmas. They've got that. You can go on the History Channel, you can go on National Geographic, but let's just say some of the things we do predate some of the things we're celebrating. And that's not just this holiday, but we'll just leave that there. I really wasn't going to start with the Celtic Tarot deck. I was going to start with the Kipper. But I'm going to make this a short read. One, because I'm tired. And two, because I'm having trouble getting my last reading to load. It's taking like a whole day or something. So I may just split the reading and load it that way into parts, because it's just an hour. It was more on the longer side. But it should already be loading. It's just not wanting to do so, but who knows with the phone interference that I receive where I'm at. Sometimes I read from the book, sometimes I do not. If I feel called to. I'd really, really love to read from this one, though, as you can tell. This is one of my oldest decks, and one of my favorites. And I feel like I am relearning it. I was even, in my last video, I got to read something that I had forgotten, or I'm like, did I read that? I didn't know that. Or maybe when you go back and revisit certain stories and certain things, I know, when you're in a different period in your life, you're older, things are different. Maybe that resonates with you. Okay. Well, that wanted to come out straight out the gate. King of Wands. We had a King of Wands the other day, but our King of Wands. All right. Well, this is an interesting character. Your King of Wands. The story behind this is actually about a king who ended up king by happenstance. You see that shocked look on his face. I believe it was his mother who had done something that bartered, the storyline goes, to make him the king of Ulster. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go into that just a little bit. Because I like to get these stories out to you guys. I am so tired that my brain's just gosh. I was listening to a reading because I really hadn't listened to any. I'm like, okay, I better do a reading or I'm going to sit here. Sometimes I'll listen to readings and just fall asleep. Just readings sometimes. And sometimes who knows what I'll fall asleep to. But Okay. So, I think last time, even in my last reading when that came out, there's something about the character of that, I guess, that made me think of my father, and I don't know why. I believe there's hedonism related to this character here. Let's see, ruled by Aries, okay. Influence, conscientiousness, I can't say it right now, whatever. Dynamic energy, aggressive, ruthless, macho behavior, and violence. All right, so this will tell you, I'll just read it. The King of Wands has strong principles. He inspires confidence with his skillfulness and his ability to get things done. The King of Wands is the card of a person with a dynamic, creative energy. His maturity and wisdom can be of great assistance to those under his care, and a good leader. He has a great dislike for routine, loves constant challenge, and is a great initiator of new ideas, but sometimes finds it hard to follow them through to their conclusion. He is generally great fun to be with and has a good sense of humor. I must be getting this one mixed up with the other one. Okay, I'm getting two different storylines mixed up. My bad. I'm tired. Bear with me. Okay. I'm reading it all. In the reverse position, the King of Wands has similar qualities to those in the upright meaning. Okay, so that's what I was catching on the other day. That's what hit me on this one. If it has similar qualities as the upright meaning, it means the King of Wands can be very deceiving. Very, very deceiving. How do you know? And that's why I'm reading both of those right now. Because that stood out to me. Qualities of upright meaning, except he has a softer nature or has not yet fully matured. He may lack the drive and commitment to follow his ideas through to their completion. In a relationship, the King of Wands tends to be sexually aggressive and likes to collect beautiful partners as trophies. Oh, this reminded me of a friend in my last reading. Okay. This is the man who likes the trophy wife. Gotcha. It was the Prince of Pentacles, I think, the other day. That is a little bit, that was maybe reminding me. I'll have to go back and look. Anyhow. In a permanent relationship, he may try to restrict his partner by use of verbal aggression. His lovemaking always contains a degree of dominance. Yeah, this definitely was about a friend of mine that it reminded me of. It was definitely not something I would have said about my dad. Coffee before readings. Kidding, I'm kidding. All right. In the reverse position, he may be violent and intolerant to the attitude of his partner with a tendency towards egocentricity and ruthlessness. So we got a fellow here who can be hard to read, because if he's can mean the similar and the upright reverse. You know, seems like kind of a good leader and influencer, but someone with a little bit of a short fuse. The story of the card. Bear with me with the words, because this is where we're just rolling with it. I've always read these quietly, so bear with me. And some of this is real Irish lore and culture and some history. Cnoshbar Magnus became king of Ulster by default. See, that part I didn't have right. In the 1st century BC. At this time, Fergus MacRoish was king of Ulster and wished to marry Ness, mother of Conchobar Magnus. She agreed on one condition, that her son be made king for a year. This one's actually kind of one of those 1st century BC. Okay. While in power, Conchobar was a fair and just king. I'm going to have to learn how to say these words right. And was well liked by both warriors and chiefs. When the year was up, Conchobar refused to return the throne to Fergus. Someone came to mind that's in our current political positions. He just didn't want to leave that house, did he? He didn't want to leave that seat. He wanted to rule. Anyhow. So, and he was liked by both warriors and chiefs. When the year was up, Conchobar refused to return the throne to Fergus. The Red Branch Knights, which I want to look into more about the Red Branch Knights. An army of highly trained warriors constantly protected Conchobar, and he used this army to drive Fergus into exile. When Conchobar was wounded in a battle with cattle raiders, his physician warned him that because of the damage to his head, he should always remain relaxed and never become angry. Someone with anger issues is what this boils down to. Someone who really, really has to watch. And I can relate to this. I am a hothead in recovery, so I can relate. Maybe you are too. Maybe I believe in healthy anger. I do. I really believe there's a place for it. But there's a difference in anger and rage. And we don't talk about it and teach it. So maybe that's why I pulled this card. Maybe somebody else needs to hear that. Don't be raging out. You can be angry. You can get mad. But there's a difference. And a lot of that isn't... when you struggle with that, you need to retrain your brain and thinking. You need to have tools to go to. You need to be able to learn the things that you don't want to do. And do them. I mean, that's just the reality of life. Sometimes we have to do healthy practices. Sorry, it's kind of a tight space, small room, so I'm just going to get myself up here comfortable. Okay. So back to this part. Let's see. So when he was wounded in battle, the physician warned him because of the damage to his head, he should always remain relaxed and never become angry. It is said that he lived for 70 years. That was a long time during that time. But eventually died in a fit of rage. And this is the part that made my mouth drop. And seeing as it's Christmas and I pulled this card, even though I'm just going to be candid, like this, originally Christmas was a pagan holiday and probably even goes even further back into the pre-pagan, Celts, Nordics. It's got tradition and after tradition after tradition after tradition, and then also the Christ storyline. However, if you were to believe what it says in the Bible, then the planetary alignments would have been said that he was born in the spring. So that's all, whatever. But it doesn't really matter. It's all just energy. And so, because so many people believe in that, the Christ mind energy is very prominent. Because when a collective believes in something, when more than one person believes in something so strongly, how can it not manifest? I like to explain that quite often. So I didn't finish what I was about to say here. So he lived for 70 years. Was told never to get angry and to stay relaxed. But after 70 years, he flew off in a mad rage and died at the news of the birth of Christ. I don't know what to tell you on that one. I'm Merry Christmas. I don't really know. Wow. Okay, so all right, we're just gonna keep going with that. And that was not preset, just for the record. I came in here and did my sound bowls. Oh, and also when I sit down in here, I didn't start the reading at 1:11, but when I sit down to record, it's 1:44 now, 1:44, and it was 1:11 when I sit down. I sit down to I like to do some of my sound bowls. I like to sit quietly for a little bit and make sure the space is clean for you guys. Or for myself. Sometimes I'm not recording. Recording these is kind of new to me. I almost want to just leave it at that. That just seemed insane. But we'll keep going. Where are we at? 22 minutes? We're going to make this a small spread today. Man wants to come out. Ace of Pentacles. Somebody's got their ace in the bag. But it's beside... I guess who's crying? Certainly wasn't this fella. Oh, I'm no good for a reading tonight. If anything, you learn something new when it comes to lore, Irish lore, tradition or history, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. This is just for entertainment purposes only. Always remember that in all of my readings. However, it's just cool. What else we got? I mean, I'm not letting them fly. I mean, if one flies out, I love it when they fly out. I'm just so tired. I'm thinking, oh, let's not bend over and pick everything up from the floor. If this one loads before the last one, I'm still going to load the other one because there's a message in there that I think maybe someone might need to hear. Eight of Swords flipped out. She looks like she's mourning. So we have the passing of someone who flew off in a mad rage at the news of the birth of Christ, which you could take that as a prophet, a knowledge, a bloodline, a king, whatever you want to, consciousness, Christ consciousness, the awakening, which brings in an Ace of Pentacles. Somebody's got an ace up their sleeve, huh? You've got your Eight of Swords. Now, every time I look at this card, I don't believe it says in the Eight of Swords anything about her being pregnant, but she looks pregnant to me in this depiction in this particular deck. And she looks like, you know, when a woman's pregnant, how they'll hold their belly or guard their belly right there. She's birthing something, or she's maybe just got her hands there in a way of kind of grief. So she's had to grieve and mourn something that's behind her now, though. Because those Eight of Swords are quite a bit in the distance. I almost want to read some more of the Celtic storylines here for you guys. But I almost don't. I almost want to just kind of leave it at, okay, Christ consciousness, eh? Someone had an awakening and someone else had a fit. That's what that tells me. That's just what I read. Ten of Swords. Wow. Jesus. Alright. He's still alive, you see. Okay. But it looks like somebody killed everybody he knew and burned down his village or his home. And your Ten of Swords. To touch on the Ace of Pentacles, we'll do some keywords out of the book instead of the whole thing, because I want to shorten this. And that's when it's new beginnings, new emotions and love, abundance, but also fatigue, loneliness, and disappointment. The Ace of Pentacles represents the dawning of a new period of realization and prosperity. There may be new beginnings, not only from a financial perspective. This card can represent a whole new start, covering all aspects of your life. Starting over completely. Good card. You may be starting a new business. This not only has the potential for financial success, but will also create success in all other areas of your life. So, nothing venture, nothing gain, right? So, if someone's starting out on something new, be it a business, relationship, or heading into the new earth, just, the whole gambit. We could make it very personal, or we could make it touch everything. So, but I know this relates to probably more than one person in the collective in some form. In some ways, even to myself. So, this not only has the potential for financial success, but will also create success in all other areas of your life. It's not in the reverse, but I read reversals in this book so that we know the storyline. The Ace of Swords in the reverse position indicates that a new beginning or idea which initially seems to have great potential could prove illusory. I would say that differently. But failure and disappointment may follow on the heels of initial success. Well, it's not in reverse, but it may suggest that you are suffering from fatigue following the failure of a relationship or an idea failing to come to fruition. You need to take time out to gather your resources and rebuild your confidence before you start again. So maybe that does resonate with somebody out there. Or, start again. Pick up and start again. Don't stop. In a relationship reading, I guess I am going to read the whole thing here. The Ace of Pentacles indicates that you have a newfound confidence in yourself and your ability to establish a relationship. You see a new relationship having the potential to develop into what you always desired your future would bring. In the reverse position, you may not see the potential any relationship has. The story of the card. In this illustration, we see the Ace of Pentacles standing on the narrow Grange stone, which is at the entrance to the New Grange Passage grave. The New Grange stone, like the Ace of Pentacles, is representative of new beginnings, growth, and development. New Grange is one of the finest European passage tombs. The single spiral pattern seen on the stone is the oldest and most recorded motif. It has symbolized the concept of growth, expansion, and cosmic energy for the ancient inhabitants of Ireland. The spiral was used to represent their sun. A loosely wounded anti-clockwise spiral represented the large summer sun. The dual-centered spiral is also prolific in the stone carvings. It has associations with motifs and other cultures, such as the Chinese yin-yang symbol. It signifies the duality of nature and balance. The early Christian monks used triple-centered spirals in their illuminated manuscripts. The motif depicts a trinity of spirals emanating from a single source and may well have been used by the monks to represent the Holy Trinity. Chevrons resembling arrowheads used by hunters and warriors alike were a symbol of power among the Celts. The most famous of all Irish prehistoric monuments, New Grange was originally built about 3100 BC and has been very well restored. It consists of a vast stone and turf mound containing a passage leading to a burial chamber. Outside the base, 12 of the original estimated 38 large boulders can still be seen. Wow. And being from there, I want to visit that. Wow. And did you catch that? He went mad upon the birth of enlightenment, Christ consciousness, okay? And you've got your yin and yang, the Holy Trinity, the most famous of, symbols. That means balance, and it's even related to, something the early Christian monks used. So I guess energy's talking tonight. They said Merry freaking Christmas. All right. I may just keep it real simple. I was wanting to get into my new deck tonight, but it will be an hour reading if I do. I'm just going to have to take turns and do different readings throughout the day so I can even get them loaded. Because I've got more cards than I guess I do loading capabilities on my phone. I'm sorry, that sometimes, no matter how many times I read these cards, it re-blows my mind over and over and over. It's like I never read that one, even though I did. It's just weird. Clearly some of them I know. Some of them I'm refreshing because you see me mix that one up. But we got it straightened, so it's fine. Your Eight of Swords here. Don't like these words, but we'll roll with it. Just remember, any kind of trouble is a lesson. There's something to learn and grow from there, always. If you can approach it from that standpoint, it'll still suck and it'll still be hard. But you will get through it, and you will come out better on the other side. And that's what alchemy is. Taking the crap thrown at you, learning from it, and turning it into gold. Do that. And then call yourself Rumpelstiltskin. I don't know. Okay. I'm tired. Bear with me, yo. Okay. I do say bad words. I do vape. I don't recommend either one. And, if that's a problem with you, then move along. Yeah. Upright meaning, bound by the difficulties around you, you feel restricted and powerless. In your past, you have handed over your power to someone else or to circumstantial control. God, I can relate to this. Something fierce. Maybe you can too then. Wow, okay. You have to dig deep and find the inner strength to allow you to free yourself from your present position. That's why she looks like she does. And those Eight of Swords are behind her, though. Behind her. Not in front of her. Behind her. Remember that. With that card, okay? You're almost there. You're almost there. Tired, probably. But you're almost there. It's the hardest part's behind you. Yeah. You have to dig deep and find the inner strength to allow you to free yourself from your present position. And that's in the upright meaning. In the reverse, which it's not, but I'm reading it anyway. You are now free to see things as they really are. You have the ability to make decisions for all the right reasons. Old beliefs and attitudes that have restricted you can be replaced within you. Clear understanding on some or all levels And it's in the upright, so you may not be there yet. But what it says about where we're heading, we want that to be in the reverse. Because I like what the reverse said about that. So we're heading. You're almost there. This is almost still in upright, but them 8 are behind you. All right, here goes the words. We'll see how it comes out my mouth and what word I make up today. I'm going to have Irish people coming at me, fussing at me. Oh my God. Please, God, no. Don't let that happen. Listen, I'm a southern girl. Just bear with me. I'm educated, but it's going to take me a minute to learn that stuff. And I took French. And I don't remember most of it. However, I am also, I did the Ancestry DNA thing, obsessed with it, loving it, going down that rabbit hole. And like I've said in my other videos, also French. My ancestry's in a circle there. Got a lot of Gaelic, Celtic, Druid, everything from Ireland to Scotch to whatever. I just like it. I love the fact that, well, even the entirety of France is lit up. But Ireland is too. And what is cool about Ireland is there's percentages of certain counties in my DNA. It adds up to a large amount. And the entire of Ireland lights up. And then you can see where the ocean separates and where they would, where it comes in there into the bay. I'm sure there's a bay or a channel that's right there, kind of, I guess, from Ireland over there to Scotland. So my area is right there, and then there's some on into Scotland, a little bit of German, and of course you'd have to get into the Belgium as well. Anyway, I just gave you my whole backstory again, but I'm loving it. So something fun to do if you ever get the time to splurge on something on yourself. I don't know, if you're into stuff like that, it's worth it. All right. Cynan was the granddaughter of Manan Mac Lir, the sea god. She went to the sacred well of the Cailleach to perform a ritual. She had total disrespect for the correct ritual and had not prepared properly for it. She had not yet learned the importance of the old ways and refused to consider the great powers she was going against. The gods were angry at her disrespectful attitude to the sacred well, for this was no ordinary well. It was the great well of knowledge. They placed a high price on her sacrilege. Enraged by the lack of respect, the sacred waters of the well rose up and pulled her under, carrying her from the life she knew to another foreign existence. They later abandoned her on the banks of the Shannon River. It is said that she spent hundreds of years roaming from one fairy mound to another, seeking entry to the other world, refused at every entrance. She is now believed to be found rambling along the banks of the Shannon River. Okay, well, I still say it's behind you and we want it reversed. That's for sure, because you want in You want those fairy people to let you in. You don't want all the doors to be closed, right? So right now, somebody's lost their crap due to someone else's awakening. And there's some ancient culture here. This one, you know, so, why, oh, sorry. That's why also your DNA is important. Know where you come from. There are people, and a lot more people than you realize, that practice certain things, and they do so without proper authority, knowledge, or reverence, and in this case, even preparation, or not even knowing what you're up against. If you're out here dabbling with witchcraft and sorcery and words and things of that nature, even if you think you're well taught by someone, and there's a lot of that in secret societies and all that stuff behind us. Yeah, I know. I don't want to get, what is it they call shadow band and all that, but I don't really care because I've had plenty done to me. Trust me, this card will tell you. It's just simple. Do as you will, but harm to none. So mote it be. Like, and I wasn't going to, I wanted to read from this deck tonight, but since I'm going to quote him, because I just listened to a reading he did. What was it he was saying? He pointed out something. I'm losing my train of thought now. Oh, how people, I don't know, he had said something that was pertinent to this. Why did I even, oh well, I don't remember it. Maybe it'll come up. It's alright. I lose my train of thought when I get tired sometimes, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. What was the key word there, though? Oh, as he was saying, that some people may spellcast against you, and what, yeah, you may see it have an effect on the person. May work a little bit, but you're still going to get what you sent them threefold, and it may not work at all. So here's the thing: if you're doing bad shit, whether it works, doesn't work, it's still coming back to you. I'm going to read this Ten of Swords, and then I'm going to pull a quick positivity card, and in this one, so I can potentially get it loaded, okay? Because I think this is a very nice, simple storyline for myself and anyone else that can relate. And I'll take it on Christmas night after all the, or during this Christmas season. Anyhow, I just bent my book and that's so OCD. That's what I get on my nerves. I wrinkled it right there. All right, Ten of Swords, keywords: rain, failure, disaster, disgrace, suffering, and violence. Upright meaning: this card indicates that you feel that you are being mistreated in some way. Excuse me. You are either being abused verbally, or someone may be stealing from you. We got a thief. Remember what I just said about bad things? That doesn't apply just to spell work. It applies to bad deeds, bad words, bad thoughts. What you put out will come back to you, even if it's intended for someone else. Didn't it say, forgive them, for they know not what they do? Even though I'd like to change the word forgiveness into they accept their asses, because they don't know what they do. Because they need to forgive themselves first. That's my opinion. Okay, so you're being mistreated in some way and someone is stealing from you. The Ten of Swords can often represent the total end of a situation or relationship, or the collapse of a business. You may have in some way brought yourself to this point by mismanagement or attitudes that were out of touch with the reality of the situation. It is time to surrender and allow necessary changes to take place. Okay, I can see where that would fit in my own personal storyline, where I've got a little something that I know I thought was going to be really good to jump on board, but I don't believe that it is actually for me, and it has nothing to do with the other things I already have going on. It was something else that would just have really done that, and that's kind of an end to that. I had already decided that myself, so maybe you've got an ending to something coming, and just because it says business doesn't mean it has to be a business. It just means, I'm going to take business stability. I mean, granted, when my house caught fire, it did affect my basket business and the running from sugar, making it, and all that stuff, obviously, and being on the loose, trying to get into a steady place and stuff for a year straight was difficult, but you come out of that shit. You just gotta hold on tightly. Hold on loosely, or don't let go. Is that what it is? I don't know. Anyway, you may have in some way brought yourself to this point by mismanagement or attitudes. Change your attitude quickly that were out of touch with the reality of the situation. So maybe something just simply, I get that for myself. Sometimes some things just aren't realistic. But remember, sometimes closed doors are a blessing. Sometimes failures are a blessing. Sometimes destruction, towers, they're not bad. They're sometimes blessings. This is just the circle of life, is the storyline. The hero's journey. We're still going to go on it, circle after circle after circle. And right now, I'm just tapping in the collective, telling you maybe where I am, maybe where you are. That is it. And we're doing that in the most simplistic way right now. So in the reverse, which it's not in, but I am. The Ten of Swords suggests a situation of violence, suffering, and pain, or an unforeseen calamity of your own making, or of the making of others. You have the ability to remove yourself from this situation, but it will take great strength and character. So, upright meaning seems like it's already happened, pretty infinite, but I'm still going to take the reverse. We want this to be in the reverse too, then. I like the reverse meaning in this book better, so we want this to come out like this, but it didn't. But even though, same with this one, still, it's behind her. We're getting there. We're getting there. Went from the 8 of Swords, we skipped that 9 and went to the 10. Oh, I was like, what's that sound? It's my frequency music. So, all right, that says something. We're getting somewhere, right? The circle is getting somewhere. To start all over again. With something else. That's just how it goes. See, not all reversals either are negative. Just takes a different book sometimes. Sometimes what's good is bad, and sometimes what's bad is good. And as we've pulled in the first card, it quickly told you sometimes, especially with this guy leading our King of Wands here, remember? It's hard to tell. He was kind of the same in the reverse and the upright. I guess until he lost his shit or somebody awakening or Christ being born. So there's that. Okay. Relationship. You feel that you cannot go on after a relationship has ended. You are suffering from anxiety and worry about the future of a relationship. Or you may be suffering in silence about the loss or death of a partner. There is a sense of depression and the feeling that you cannot go on, or that there will be nobody there for you in the future. Wow, man. I get that on a level. I've felt like that. We've all felt like that. But you know what? There will be other people. There will be other homes. Let me reassure you. And you don't have to suffer. You can adapt and love yourself. All right. Story of the card. Breeze became king after the Battle of Magtarid, in which the reigning king Nadua lost his arm in combat. The law of the land dictated that only a man who was physically perfect could hold the kingship. So Nuada, I don't know if I'm saying that right, was forced to step down and hand the... That's gonna piss me off. The kingship of Ireland to Breeze. Breeze forced tributes from the human gods of the Tuath Dudan, the Dagda, the Ogma, and the Law. During this time, he married Bridget, a daughter of the Dagda. The intermarriage between the Tuath Dudan and the Fomorians was a way of keeping peace. Breeze demanded excessive tribute from all and created much hardship for his people until the druid Cairbre decided that something had to be done. He met with the poet of Cairbre to see how they could usurp Bree without warfare. Cairbre was a druid poet with special powers and great wit. He made Breeze the subject of his satire. Cabri's poetry was so powerful and had such an effort on Breeze that boils and carbuncles began to appear on his face. Breeze called on many different powers to try and remove these ugly blemishes from his face, but Cabri's powers was too strong. The boils and carbuncles became so unsightly that eventually Breeze was forced to resign his position in the same way that he gained it. Ooh. You lose them how you get them. Okay, I had to say that. That's for somebody. That's for somebody. But you see what just happened there? She didn't go in prepared for the spiritual warfare, whatever, witchcraft and spiritual warfare she was going through and that she was messing with. Which ends up in a Ten of Swords. So for somebody out there, they didn't realize who they were messing with, that their power was too strong. But as he told you, somebody was already Christ, the prophet. So you messed with the anointed. You messed with the chosen one. You messed with one of Christ's people. I don't know that I need to even pull any other cards to tell a storyline. And we've learned some history tonight. Kind of cool. All right. Let's hope this loads and I don't have to do it. We are going to just pull one thing from the Starseed Oracle deck tonight. I'm just going to flip it open into. Let's see, can you read it? Spiritual. Let's go to the glare. Spiritual regression. Seek healing and wisdom in the memories of your soul's journey. Heal. Take healing and wisdom from what you've already learned and done and been there. So that's what the cycle is all about. That's what the tarot is about. That's what the journey is about. The hero's journey. No matter what it is, a reason here. Every little thing. So maybe we need to do some introspection at this time. And it being the end of the year, that's only appropriate. Leave me with a good thought from this little Make Today Magical Positive Words. And we will end on that completely because I think that was pretty neat. You are valuable. You're valuable. Your knowledge, your authenticity, your differences. No matter what you've done, learn your lessons. That's what we're here for. That's what we all do. No matter where you're at on this journey, you are valuable. Don't forget that. And yes, you may see this video far from Christmas if I ever get it loaded, and you may see it at a different time. If so, maybe that just simply means that Christmas and the Christmas time is a date that is significant to you whenever this reading finds you. However, if you do see this in the time frame that it is, all I have to say is Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.